Hello and welcome to Bergen Stages Television, our entertainment magazine here at Bergen Community College. I'm Jim Bumgardner, your host, and today we're focusing on a wonderful comedy we have coming up in the Saccone Theater by Richard Brinsley Sheridan called The Rivals. And I'm thrilled that we have three of the stars of the show with us. So welcome Jason Ver Hage, Jessie Jones, and John Kroner. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Yeah. You're in that part of the rehearsal period, yeah?
Yes.
What a charming show it is that I really want to get into some details about the show and everything you guys are putting into it. But right now I just kind of want the audience to get to know you guys a little bit better, how you came to the stage at Bergen Community College. So, John, you're my closest, so we'll start with you.
All right, start with me. Sure.
Yeah.
I went to school at Pascagoula Valley High School in Hillsdale, and then I did play all throughout there. And then once I came here in 2013, I didn't do the plays. I didn't even, I'm going here for cinema studies, and so I didn't think that I was even allowed to. But because the school's here so fantastic, and the theater program, that anybody, no matter what major you have, you can do it. So, but at first I didn't think I was allowed to. I didn't, and I saw signs, Angels in America and stuff, and I would be like, oh, maybe I should, look into that. But I never did. And then last year, I got a call from Alex Vetterline, and he said he was auditioning for a show called, Complete Stage Beauty. And I didn't know anything about it, but he's like, you should, come down. And so I did that, and Mike auditioned me in some classroom in Ender Hall, and the cast list went up like 2 hours later.
And you were in.
And I'm in, and all because of Alex Vetterline. And let me say, it was like one of the best things ever, because like,
awesome
I met,
director, awesome
yeah.
process,
Oh, the show is fantastic, and the people are just so talented and friendly and welcoming. Like at first, I was like, they all know each other, and
I know,
but everyone was so nice, and now I'm here. So.
You're here now. Cool. Well, welcome,
Thank you.
John. Jessie, I know you've been in a couple of shows here. So how did you
Yeah.
get to Bergen? Where were you?
Well, we moved to, my husband got into Columbia, so we moved to New Jersey, and I live in Fort Lee, and I had been wanting to get back into theater. I've done it a lot over the years, but it had been a little bit, and I auditioned for Brighton Beach, and Ken casted me.
That was your first one. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
it had been some years.
But that's great. So that was a year ago.
And I felt the same way. I was just like, oh my gosh, everybody's so nice, and it's like a family here,
It is.
theater family.
And now you're part of the family.
Yeah.
And Jason, our alum.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been doing shows on and off again here at Bergen Stages since I graduated high school. I've always been local.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Midland Park High School, and then came here directly out of there, got a job, so I had to take a brief hiatus from the college scene and came back.
Which is the beauty of a community college. It's not like, oh, I've got to be here, a set number of semesters, any of that sort. It's like, some take it as, coming straight through. Some will do a few classes and stretch out a little bit more, and that's fine. I mean, that's as long as you're getting to the goal of what you want to do. I think that's the important
Absolutely, and
part.
it's in reach, so that's the good thing.
That's a great thing. That's okay. And so let me start back with you, Jason. What did you do at Midland Park? Did you perform there as well?
I did. We had a great theater program. I did, and it was a 6-year school, so it started in 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
7th through 12th, and I guess my senior year was probably the greatest experience I had, like role-wise. I was Nathan Detroit in Guys and Dolls. Ooh, excuse me.
Wonderful show.
Nathan Detroit in Guys and Dolls, and juror number 10 in 12 Angry Men. So
great roles and that was your senior year?
that was my senior year.
Good,
Yep.
good. Jessie, what did you do? You said you did shows before you got here, but you're not you're not a Jerseyite. Where did you?
Oh gosh, I'm from Pennsylvania originally.
Okay.
I've lived in Florida. I've lived in Colorado. And
when did you start performing at what point?
I mean, like my very first play I was in, I was 5. And I would say I did some musicals in like middle school, but I really got into acting probably like about 8th grade. I took some acting classes outside of school.
Oh, nice.
And my brother and I put on a play at a college. And
this is kind of like
I
Judy
went
Garland,
to
Mickey Rooney. Let's put on a play.
Yeah, I went to Denver School of the Arts for
Oh, no.
1 year in
Yeah,
high school
yeah.
and studied theater. And yeah, I've just always been really passionate about
Any favorite
Acting and-
roles from those junior high school days?
Well, I mean, I don't really have any favorites now.
Or memorable, most memorable, how's that?
In high school, I mostly did like monologue nights, scene
Mm-hmm.
and monologue nights, and just took acting classes. And then we did the Denver Public Schools Shakespeare Festival. Seems so long
Great,
ago.
it seems so long ago. Tell me about it.
But yeah.
We won't go there, Jason. Will we, Jason? No, we're not going there.
We
So,
don't go.
John, I know you did a few things in high school.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, I was so bad in the beginning of high school and like middle school. I did plays, and I think the first play I was in was like second grade or whatever. But I was just always so bad because I would just say the lines basically. You know, and I wouldn't really think about the character at all. And that changed junior year when I was doing a show called The Laramie Project, and also there's like a part 2 called 10 Years Later, and we put them together.
Wow.
So the way that we did it, we all played like, you know, few different parts. And this one part I was like a doctor, and in the beginning of the rehearsals I just said the lines as I always had. And then one day I was watching There'll Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis, and the movies have always been like my teacher. So like I was like, I've seen it before, but I was studying his acting, and like I was
what a
just,
brilliant actor to study.
What a
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
what a fantastic. And I realized he's like, he was like doing his own thing. He created his own character. He was the character. And so the next rehearsal, I showed up. I borrowed somebody's glasses. I rolled up toilet paper and I put it in my mouth, and so that way I'd have like a lisp.
Wow.
I changed my mannerisms,
Wow.
and I just blew everyone away. Not that I was like fantastic, but just that I went from just saying the lines to actually attempting to try and be somebody else.
Find a character.
And so that was kind of like I kind of got it. I understood what it meant to be like an actor and be somebody else.
And you're doing this on your own. You weren't getting.
Yeah. No. At that point, no, definitely not. And then the next year, I was Romeo in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, which that was
Small role.
right. Small. It was yeah. And you know, going from like 0 lines or a few lines to like that. That was. I didn't know I had
A lot of words.
yeah to memorize. Yeah.
And they got a rhyme. What the heck?
And then I ended up the night that they filmed it. I ended up messing up the balcony scene out of all scenes.
Of all scenes, everybody knows that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can you retake it?
Yeah.
Well, good. You had some great roles then.
Yeah,
All of
yeah.
you. Jason, what was your first one here?
My first show here was A Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay. Wow, neat. Yeah, with Picciellos and what a great group there.
Great cast, great production team also. It was very memorable.
It was.
So,
What
yeah.
a great show it was too, and packed, bringing everybody in to come see this show. Wow, you've done a few here. What else have you done?
The ones that stand out, Christmas Carol, since that was my first one. Godspell will always be my favorite
Great.
that I've done. And my second favorite was also that year, it was The Exonerated. So those are a couple of my highlights. of the
And
shows.
our first together was Kinder Transport, which
That was our
we'll
first.
always hold because it was my first one
Yes,
directing
that's
here,
another one
and
of my
having
top
you in it,
shows.
which was such a wonderful, wonderful production there. But we can go down memory lane forever. So this was interesting, John, that you talked about being a cinema studies major. What do you do with that?
Oh well.
What do you want to be when you grow up, John?
Well, you know, at first coming in, I thought I wanted to maybe write or direct, even, you know, produce or something, because I just love movies so much. It's what inspired me to act in the first place, or you know, I just watch movies all the time. And but now that like I'm doing the plays and stuff, and you know, and I really have like tremendous desire to become an actor. That was always like my goal ever since I was young, was to be an actor. But like going into college, I didn't know if I wanted to study acting or study the movie part and then become an actor or something. Maybe be like a Clint Eastwood and do both, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, and so when you're here, you just you watch movies, you write essays, depending on what class you take. There's like specialty classes where one class I had, it was like all 70s movies, and which that was a great class, and the teacher was really great, and we just watched. We watched movies that like nobody's really seen before. Instead of watching, you know, The Godfather, which obviously that's like the stamp for like 70s movies.
Yeah.
But like we watched movies that like I've never seen before, and it really broadened my horizons, and we learned a lot.
And shows a lot about that decade that it was filmed
Right,
in,
yeah,
too, that did not get
tremendously,
talked
yeah.
about. Great. So as a cinema studies, so now you think about acting for film
Possibly,
now,
yeah.
going that way,
Yeah,
and stage, or is that what you were saying, that you
Well,
would do
yeah,
a little
and
of both?
you know, I was never, no offense, but I was never a huge fan of stage, and
We're not taking too much of it.
well, because I know you're a fan. Well, but
Just
now,
kidding, no.
but now,
We got you.
yeah,
Oh,
now
good,
you got
good,
me.
good,
Yeah,
good.
it's like it's just a lot more. I don't know.
Have you acted in film yet? Have you had that opportunity to be in film?
I audition. I go into. I have like a manager that I go into the city like every so often, and I audition for. And it's very competitive, and it's hard.
Plus, LA is where you want to be. If you want to do film, we're doing a lot of theater here in New York, but we don't do a film. And like the reverse is in LA, they do tons of film and television, but not a lot of theater. So it's like.
And I've come to realize that theater and stage is a great training ground. Like, that's where you really learn, like, the most of becoming an
How to
actor.
put stuff in your mouth and talk
Exactly,
like
yes, yes.
Jesse, what's your major? What do you...
Acting.
You're an acting major,
Yeah.
great. And what are your goals? Well, what do you take when you're an acting major here? What kind of courses do you take?
Well, I'm taking stagecraft this semester and lighting.
So,
Basic
as an acting
acting.
major, you're going to learn to build a set and hang lights and all that?
Yeah,
That's great,
I
great.
took Marie's costume class last semester, which was really awesome. Just learning about the different eras and stuff was really cool.
And you think that's, I mean, I know that there are some conservatories that as an actor, you're just going to act. You're not going to get the opportunity to learn this stuff backstage. Which do you think is more helpful as a theater person?
I mean, I really enjoy taking like stagecraft and costume and learning about like the other aspects of theater. I think that it's helpful as an actor just kind of to know what's going on in different areas and I mean, I just
Kind of makes you more well-rounded. Jason, you've taken
Yeah.
the same course, right? Yeah, kind of helps you.
It gives you
Appreciate.
a deeper respect
There you go, there's the
for
word, yeah.
everyone involved in the show. And it also gives you the knowledge of what goes on backstage, because a lot of the times when you're in high school, you don't know what the stage manager does.
You're
You
just
don't
getting up there
know.
saying your lines.
Yeah, you're just going out there.
You have no idea that
saying
somebody built
lines.
that set that you're standing on, that you're saying the lines in front of you.
And then you learn how to build the set and how to make practicals, and like it's a great thing. I think that's what I love about the program.
Yeah, and then if at some point you're ending up directing, as you're saying, that you will have the vocabulary to say things about the set and the lights that you might kind of want, and props and things like that along the way there as well. So, well, cool. So now we're actually getting you up on stage and starting. So just before we get into talking about the characters themselves that you're playing, what's the audition process like? Since you're the one that said, I didn't even know we could do this here, which is great to hear because anybody can audition for our shows here. We have biology majors, we have legal studies majors, cinema studies majors. So what was this audition for The Rivals? What was this particular audition?
There was 2 nights, right? 2 nights of auditions, and you pretty much go to like one or the other, or maybe both, I guess, if you wanted to. And then we got on the stage, and we all, there was like a lot of people, like a good amount of people, like 40, 50 people around maybe.
The first night.
And
The first night, a lot of people.
Yeah, and we all sat on the stage, and Tom, the director, picked who would go and do like a scene for a character, and then he'd do like another character with that scene. And
So left you all up there in this one. This is kind of a different way to do it. So
Yeah.
Tom O'Neill's directing it, and gets into visual, and just is such an incredible talent that we have here. So he had you all get up in front.
yeah,
and
which
do little
sometimes
match-
it's they'll pick you out and they'll take you into the room where it's just you, like you doing a scene with another person and then the director. But this, you were able to see what other people's interpretations were, and
take some of their choices and meld them into your
yeah.
own time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can do better
good,
than
good.
that.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to put that. Yeah. And how was it for you, Jessie?
Good. That was a different audition. We did like dance, remember?
oh yeah, there was a dance.
There's a
And-
movement involved.
I tried to block that out of my memory. 'cause
Yeah.
I hate dancing.
We did some vocal
But there is
stuff.
period
It was
dancing because
different.
this is set in the 18th century. So there's some kind of folk dancing
Yeah,
from
like
the
country
particular
dancing,
period. I
yeah.
think Kay DeMetz is
Yeah.
She was
for-
there,
okay,
yeah.
Great, good. And so you danced. How was it for you, Jason? You came in late.
Yeah, I had a different experience. I'm not around campus this semester, and I got a phone call because there was a conflict with scheduling on one of the performers who was in the show. So having worked with Tom before and Ashley, who is our stage manager, they reached out to me and asked me to read, to come in and just fill
To do
in.
a replacement for someone.
And it was more of, I just went in and I read that day to cover the performer who was no longer able to do the show, and 2 days later, Tom was like, "Oh, would you be interested in doing this show?"
So this is a big lesson there too. Just because the auditions might be over with, replacements happen. You know, people end up with conflicts with work and sort of things like that. And the rest is, as they say, on its way to being a fabulous production. So guys, we're going to take a real short break, and we're going to come back and really talk about your wonderful characters that you're playing in The Rivals. So we're going to take a break right now, and please come right back, and we'll be talking to these wonderful actors, Jason, Jessie, and John. I love the J's. It's so easy. I'm Jim Bumgardner. Come right back.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Let's switch to Energy Star light bulbs and stop burning through cash. Saving energy saves you money.
Hello and welcome back to Bergen Stages Television. I'm Jim Bumgardner, your host. Today we're with 3 wonderful actors from our upcoming production of The Rivals, which is a 18th century English drawing room comedy, and you guys are starring in some wonderful roles there. So I wanted to kind of talk about the roles you're playing. Jason, you're playing
Sir Absolute.
Sir Anthony Absolute.
Yep.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about this character.
He is the patriarch of the Absolute family, and he has this, I want to say wonderful, but you don't get that from him, this wonderful son who's in the military, and he, throughout the course of the show, he's trying to set his son up in a sort of arranged marriage with Mrs. Malaprop's niece. Throughout the course of the show, you get to see his little quirks.
He's a very military man, very...
He's a stern father.
I think Sheridan, who wrote this particular play, loves making fun of aristocracy. So he has fun kind of making some silly things about your particular character there as Sir Anthony.
Yeah, he's a little over the top.
Doesn't he even have gout? Does
He has gout, or does he?
Or does he?
Yeah, there's...
I mean, that's the king's disease, so what a great one to have,
Yeah.
is that you're rich, you're eating all that wonderful food, you must be...
And it's fun because Sir Anthony plays on the gout. He uses it to manipulate certain people in the show.
One being your son.
One being my son.
Captain Jack.
Captain Jack.
So let me just turn to you, John. Tell us about Captain Jack. Because he's got a dual personality.
He's on a pirate ship. And,
oh, no, wait, that's part of the
Captain Jack Absolute. He's a captain in the British Army, probably because of my father. He put me in there. I'm not like that stern captain guy. Well, as the writing shows, he's very like just crazy, and he has he has fun with all the people, and he laughs a lot, and he jokes around, and he's just a jokester, and he is in love with
Lydia Languish.
Lydia Languish.
I love the name, Lydia Languish.
But the problem is, now I'm rich and she's rich. And but the problem is she doesn't want to be with a rich person. She wants, someone like Aladdin who's poor. So I create a character called Beverly,
which she doesn't know.
She does not know that. But he's like this poor kid, blah blah blah, and I write letters to her. And
in the military as well, but he's a lower ranking person in the military.
I'm not even sure. Yeah. And she falls in love with him.
Yeah.
not like Captain
Not
Absolute,
Rich-
not me actually, but my made-up character. And so that creates a whole bunch of stuff, and then who's also in love with her, and the just the mess that comes about because of the lie that I'm trying to do.
The snowball effect
snowball
that it just gets
effect,
bigger and bigger,
yeah.
and then suddenly you have to confront the two adults in the room
Right.
about what you have done, and then
'Cause
finally,
it's her niece.
and you could lose Lydia
Right.
if she knows the truth. One, you've lied to her, and two, you're not the bad boy.
The moral
she
of the
thought.
story is just don't lie.
Just don't lie.
Just be yourself.
And speaking of, we have to meet Mrs. Malaprop. Probably
Yeah.
one of the best known characters in literature is your character. And why is that?
Well, she's quite silly, and her whole thing is that she misuses words. So she thinks that
What's an example of some of those? Can you throw one off the top of your head?
Gosh. At one point she says that you're the very pineapple of politeness.
Right.
And she means?
I feel like she means pinnacle.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not even sure. There's a book that I'm wanting to get that says what she actually means to say.
Oh, that's a good book to have. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
really, and
some of them you can figure out, and some of them, like, it's kind of harder, but.
it is, and everybody else, other characters are going, what did she just say?
Yeah,
And they're trying to figure out what
she's
did
completely
what she mean by
ridiculous,
that.
so.
That's fun. And because of this character, we have a word in our vocabulary called malapropisms.
Yeah.
And it truly is. Sheridan created this woman that kept getting it wrong, but she thought she was so right.
Yes.
And we do it in foreign languages, but to do it in your own language is just so clever about this writing there. And she has the niece, Lydia, that you're trying to marry off.
Yes.
And your character's single as well. Is she interested in pursuing a?
She likes Sir Lucius, and she is writing letters to him, which he thinks is her niece writing the letters, and he wants to get together with the niece, so there's just all these funny happenstances, and it's just sort of silly and ridiculous.
Everybody, bad communication, miscommunication,
Yeah,
bad lying,
yeah.
stick to the truth, you're better off with it.
So-
But what wonderful characters they are. I think all three of your characters I just love reading and love watching.
The writing's fantastic.
It is. And who knew that you could fall in love with an 18th century? I mean, we think of Shakespeare when we think, the 1600s, but suddenly we get this 18th century, which kind of falls right off on what you had done last semester.
Right.
So we got in the Restoration era, and now we've got this wonderful comedy of manners. That Sheridan has done. So it's kind of neat that you've kind of followed this path into this particular play there. But a wonderful character to play. And it's a beautiful costume piece. We call these costume classics because of that. Marina Talley's working on them. Help our audience kind of understand, what do I mean by a costume classic, Jessie?
Well, I mean, they're from the period. The females have like the hip rolls and the bustles.
Does
and,
this make me,
which
my butt
I
look
didn't
big?
even-
You've got this huge.
I didn't even remember about hip rolls. I'm sure I learned about them in Marie's costume class, but I forgot. So when I got my slip or whatever with the hip rolls, I was like, oh, because I'm supposed to be an older woman, I'm supposed to have rolls. And she was like, no, this is the style.
It gives you just a better shape. It makes you look so thin here because you overdo this here.
Yeah.
So, and how has that been rehearsing in hip rolls, or at least the long costumes, because everything's long dresses?
Well, actually, we just started with the hip rolls rehearsing yesterday.
Oh,
So,
wow.
like, we've had our rehearsal slips, but it's very heavy. But I mean, like, I'm used to that from other shows. Like
Sitting
having
down, getting
to
up,
get
is
used
that
to different
difficulty, or is
things.
that?
No, not so much. I'm used to wearing costumes and stuff, so.
So it's fun just kind of put
Yeah,
costumes on.
it's different every time, but
And you have a wonderful look.
I do, yeah. I've got the knickers or the short pants with the tights underneath it, the buckle shoes, long coat, long vest.
And you're playing 20 years older than yourself, 30 years?
Around that, yeah. He's probably,
because this is your son.
This is my
who
son,
would
and he's
be
about 18, 19,
18, 19?
we discussed.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the mid-40s maybe. So he's not
Not too
terribly old. Watch it. But you do get the age makeup and that sort of thing.
I'm doing
just
the
kind of
age
give him a
makeup
little
on
age in there
Yeah.
too. But beautiful. And you're all military.
Yes, I love the red coat.
The red coats
British
are coming.
red coat. Yeah, it's awesome. And I have like a little ponytail that they clip on the back. people are saying, I need to cut my hair, but I'm like, no, I need to grow it out.
You need to grow it. No, don't touch your hair. Don't touch your hair.
yeah.
Marie will kill you. If
Yeah,
you
no.
do anything with your hair. But there are attachments. So you do have a ponytail, kind of that Thomas Jefferson look. If we think period, we're kind of looking like the Thomas Jefferson look.
It takes place in 1775, which is right before the Revolution.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, and we were wearing similar things. What the Brits were wearing, we were also wearing in this country too during that particular period. So that's and it's a good look for you. That tri-cornered hat and all that kind of stuff. And you get a great wig.
Yes, my wig is like huge and white and has little bows in it. I feel like I should be pulling out birds or something. And
Little bird's nest probably living in there.
I love my wig.
When you put these kind of costumes on, does that help your character? Do you find it?
Absolutely.
I mean, we did a photo shoot for our publicity shot, which are great photos. We had fun doing that out in the woods there. But it does help character, Jason. Does it help?
Absolutely. Once you get the wig on, because you're the only one that's not wearing a wig so far.
But he has the piece there.
But
he does
has
have the
piece.
attachment, so he had to be very aware.
Once you get the 3 layers and the wig and the tights on, the buckle shoes that have like an 1.5 inch heel, it just allows you, like your posture changes and it allows you to become the character more than just in rehearsals.
I think, like John was saying, that it's more than just saying the lines. Suddenly, now you've got all this on. You got to make it all happen. You got to be a part of. If I'm looking like this and I'm standing in front of that, I got to do more than just "Hi, my name is." And I kind of fill into it. So now you're into this rehearsal process and these wonderful clothes and rehearsal costumes now. What happens in the rehearsals? You're about at run-throughs now. You're about running through the play.
I think
you had a long rehearsal last Sunday. I remember.
We're walking through the plays now, and still trying to go off book for the most part with everybody, and after that, I think it's just gonna, like a whole bunch of stuff is just gonna start happening because once you learn the lines, it's like everything else, it just comes a lot easier.
It's funny that some people think that's learning the lines is so important, and they sometimes wait till the very last part to do it. But I think you're hitting on something, John, is that you want to do it early because you get the sense of discovery of who's on stage with you. And Jessie, you were not,
Absolutely.
It just helps. It just, your character, you're listening more because you know your lines, so you're listening to how people respond. And you got to respond to the way they've said their lines, not the way you...
And if you know the lines enough, you don't even have to listen for a cue line. You just have to listen to what they're saying, and it actually becomes an actual conversation. And that's when like the real magic happens.
That's the magic. And the magic is getting ready to happen. This is the exciting period. We get into designer run-throughs. We have Michael Lapointe doing the set, which is kind of a cool multi-purpose set with interiors, exteriors, and it all takes place in Bath, England, if I remember right, in the wonderful town of Bath, which is magical in itself. If you haven't been, we need to take a road trip, I think. In Bath, England. And Marie, as I said, doing the costumes. We have Dean Matson doing sound, and there's incredible, beautiful music. I don't know that you've heard it yet, but some music coming your way from that particular period, very Baroque, very, very wonderful style of music in there. Adam Sprzinski's doing some props for us. So it's a great collaboration, getting everybody together and getting. So now, what happens in the next couple of weeks? You're learning your lines. You're getting off book. Jason, where do you want to? What do you?
Well, within the next couple of weeks, like you said, we've got our designer run through, which is where all the designers watch the show and they decide, oh wait, we forgot to do the props for this, or
he's going to stand there for this scene? Jared Saltzman's doing lights, thinking of lights that we got to have the lights lit in that area. So.
And I personally treat plays as a growing organism. Like even like John and I have done what I call our fight scene a bunch of times now, and even last night we discovered so many new pieces to the scene.
So that's the beauty of this next couple of weeks is discovering. And I think that's what it is before opening night. It's going to be I cannot believe our time's up, guys. We have just, it just goes by so fast. This is an exciting show. We're so thrilled about doing Sheridan's The Rivals here. It's coming up in December, so right after Thanksgiving break, we'll be doing it. So break a leg. Thanks, Jason, Jessie, John. Thanks for being at the show.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching our production of Bergen Stages Television. Please come see The Rivals. It's going to be opening on December 4th, I believe it is, December 4th, which is a Friday night in our Sakone Theater, our larger theater. A beautiful costumed piece that I think you'll have a great time, especially watching Mrs. Malaprop with her malapropisms and watching John Kroner playing this wonderful character, these dual roles up there behind his father's back. So come back and see us, and thanks for watching today.
Bye.